All right, we've put this video off long enough. We just recently had by Nick Shook a couple days ago from NFL Network, NFL.com. He did his ranking of all 59 starting quarterbacks from the 2024 season. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, who's at number one. So this is kind of a snippet from there. And I've had several people say to me, well, you analyzed Justin Fields. You gave this big video presentation about how he was ascending every year. You did all this stuff for him. Why haven't you done that for Caleb yet? And that's when this channel really started to grow last year, when I started to shed some light on Justin Fields, on how his quarterback play was, how it wasn't, elite, but it was ascending. It was growing every year. Is it time to give up on him? Is it time to go for the rookie quarterback? Ultimately, we know Ryan Poles and company decided it was time to turn that quarterback clock over, start over again when you had the number one overall pick. Makes sense, logical. Ended up happening. Wasn't necessarily the direction many of the fan base thought they would go. I thought they would trade that haul again after we had the trade the year before from the number one pick. We traded down and got DJ Moore and a whole haul after we'd been decimated by years of trading away draft picks, trying to buy the championships for the now. That didn't happen. We went with the quarterback, Caleb Williams. Well, now we've got a year in hindsight. How did he really do? Because in this article, he really didn't do any favors for Caleb Williams. Now, the top makes sense. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow all make sense. Even getting down to the division, Jared Goff 4, Jordan Love at 10. At 10. You look at that completion percentage. You look at the interceptions. You look at, at 10. The hype for Jordan Love. Guys, I've said it over and over again. There's certain things that make sense, certain that don't. And, anyways. Sam Darnold at 13, then Caleb Williams at 28. But what's more shocking is he was behind players like Drake May. There's several. He was 28th. So I decided now was a good time to break out the old abacus, the calculator, and all my formulas and my stats and the things that I do for this. Because I have my own breakdowns and formulas of what's most important for each individual position. I did it last year. I did it this year. And I showed the big video. This is the big video before. Justin Fields was asked to improve. Did he? And then I showed a lot of the things that he improved in. His clean accuracy improved every year. His dirty accuracies. NFL pass rating in a clean pocket and a dirty pocket. How his offensive line was. Well, we know this year Caleb Williams was sacked 68 times in his rookie season, which is third most in NFL history. Now, Caleb Williams himself got in front of the pulpit and said a lot of those were on him. He was not blaming the offensive line. He said he struggled with many things and that he should have dirted the ball, in his words. I should have dirted it, should have gotten rid of it, I should have thrown more balls away. And you saw that improve as the season went along. You saw him get a handle on some of those things. But he went through so many different offensive lines. And really, the Bears' offensive line wasn't terrible for the starting group, but then you had turmoil and controversy and things that shouldn't have happened that happened, like Nate Davis and his lackadaisical effort or whatever was going on with his family and everything else. And I'm not here to judge any one situation, but they ended up getting terminated, let go by the team. And then you had Ryan Bates with his injury history and then concussions. You had Braxton Jones with his injury and then coming back only to have his leg be snapped and breaking his leg. And then having Matt Pryor, who was never meant to be a starter, have to fill in. And then you've got players like Jake Curhan and Karan Amagaji and Doug Kramer filling in for significant parts of this role, let alone Larry Borum, who should have never been back on this team. And I pounded the table last year for that same thing. So was the team roster constructed correctly? Was it just a series of bad events? Well, either way, through all of that, Caleb was still able to pass for, and you see here by the 33rd team, pass for 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, and an interception percentage less than 1.5%. Those are the 5 quarterbacks that did that. That was it. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, and Caleb Williams. And then I added to this, and I got this directly from the Bears website. They posted this earlier. So, I just barely did that earlier tonight, but I posted this from that. Also, Caleb Williams is the only rookie in NFL history to pass for at least 3,500 yards with 20 touchdowns and 6 or fewer interceptions while rushing for at least 400 yards. The only other quarterback to accomplish the feat are Jalen Hurts in 2022, Josh Allen 2024, and Lamar Jackson 2024. So despite the adversity, despite having a head coach fired, an offensive coordinator let go, your passing game coordinator coming up to offensive coordinator, and then coming up to your interim head coach, despite all those things, he was still able to break almost every single Bears rookie quarterback record and be among the 5 who had that low of an interception ratio compared with touchdowns and 3,500 yards. He still brought some success out of this season. So for those who don't have the PFF premium subscription and don't get to see all these in detail snaps, I'm just going to leave this up here because you deserve to see it. So here's Caleb Williams' individual games, his overall season, where it all stood. Here's his 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Here's his game-by-game log. And you see the Jacksonville game was one of his highlights, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. I really like this Week 12 Minnesota game. It was one of my favorites for how he played. A lot of highlights in that game. The Detroit game, I mean, many of these in here where he brought comebacks. He drove us down to win the game only to have flukes and time management and Hail Marys and crazy things occur for us to lose the game. But he played overall a very good season. So I'll leave this here. You can pause it if you want to look at that for those who don't have the PFF premium subscription. I'll just leave that there. There's some of his big stats. So this is NFL passer rating, his adjusted completion percentage. When I'm talking about accuracy, this is what I mean by accuracy. Adjusted completion percentage takes into consideration a quarterback play despite the things that his team does wrong around him, or throwing the ball away doesn't count for his accuracy, or drops by other players. That doesn't count against his accuracy. So you can see his completion percentage was 62.5, but his actual accuracy adjusted for things that were out of his control, 73.4. These are depth of target, turnover-worthy play, percentage, big-time throws, his fumble grade, run grade, pass grade, offensive overall grade. These are by each individual game, touchdowns, interceptions, yards, completion percentage, attempts, dropbacks. So that's all of this. So I've got my own formula on how I grade my quarterbacks. Each position I have my own formulas, and they are nerdy, and it is in depth. And I'm not going to bring up the whole formula on here, but there's certain things that I do bring into consideration for it. Their NFL passer rating, their accuracy, their turnover-worthy plays, their touchdown to interception ratio. I bring all these things into consideration. I create my own formula, and I'm just going to show you some of the top guys at each of these spots for what I grade on. So number 1, accuracy. And you can see here, Jalen Hurts was the top in accuracy this last year. Tua was second. Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, and Jared Goff. So I've got them listed here. Those were the top 5 in accuracy from this last year. Then you look at touchdown to interception ratio, and while Caleb was high on this list, he wasn't on the highest. Lamar Jackson, and the way I graded these guys, they had 150 dropbacks. So there were 39 quarterbacks, or 43 quarterbacks that had 150 attempts or more this year, and that's who I graded in here. So your top touchdown to interception ratio, Lamar Jackson had a 9-1, Josh Allen 8.42-1, Justin Fields 8.33-1, Joe Burrow 8.27-1, and Jalen Hurts 7.93-1. Next up, NFL passer rating, Lamar Jackson had the highest, 119.9, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, and Jalen Hurts. And when I grade it all out and I gave them all a score, I'm not going to even show the score, the nerdy analytical formulas, all that stuff. I'm just going to show you where everyone landed. And it's interesting to me, Jordan Love all the way down here at 22, when you actually put stats to how he played and put his accuracy in there, and don't just put the quarterback or the head coach and the team record and all that. His individual play, he's all the way down at 22, which is very interesting to me, how the league continues to pump him up despite him being one of the least accurate quarterbacks in the league. That's really interesting to me. So anyways, Lamar Jackson was number 1. None of these are shockers at the top. And Jaden Daniels did have a great rookie season. It reflected great job by the Commanders assembling a great team and a good line and handling that the right way. But Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Josh Allen, Russell Wilson. And then you get down here, you got Bo Nix, Pat Mahomes, Jared Goff, Justin Fields, Aaron Rodgers, Caleb Williams at number 20. Whereas on NFL.com's list, he was 28th. So you can kind of look through there where this is unbiased, just purely putting stats to the number, where they ranked, how they stood at the end of this year. And honestly, I'm very optimistic and very high
and Allen with room on the sideline. Upended as he gets across the 40 by Byron Murphy. Down at the 39 of Minnesota, he picks up 40.
I tell you what, this is a heck of a throw by Caleb Williams. I mean, this is the arm talent that everybody...
Sorry, I had that sound too loud on there. Had to turn that down. So, like I said, Caleb Williams is the only rookie in NFL history to pass for at least 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 or fewer interceptions, while rushing for at least 400 yards. The only other quarterbacks to accomplish the feat are Jalen Hurts, 2022, Josh Allen, 2024, and Lamar Jackson, 2024. So overall, I would give Caleb a solid B to a B plus on this year, and that's being unbiased. I really feel like he showed enough brilliance with his elite arm, his pocket awareness, and his mobility to escape big-time throws in certain situations where he threads the needle, just like that one right there, where he rolls out and escapes the pocket and still finds a way to manage a play when it seemed like it was dead. It seemed like plays were dead. So he had struggles like many other rookies. You don't grade rookies as hard as you grade veterans on certain things like accuracy. Historically, rookies are less accurate in their rookie year than other years by over 3 points, by 3%. So there's a huge adjustment that comes that first year in the league. He also lost 466 yards on sacks, which was the fourth most yards lost on sacks ever. So that put the Bears in a tough spot where they're playing the field position game. Losing 466 yards on the year is huge. So that's tough. The Bears have a huge opportunity this next year to upgrade the offensive line, to rebuild it the way they need to, and to have Ben Johnson come in and call the plays differently than things have been in the past. So there is a big opportunity ahead of them. So am I sold on Caleb Williams? Honestly, yeah, I am. I'm pretty sold on the kid. I feel like he's shown enough pizzazz, shown enough to be able to be the Bears quarterback of the future. Am I worried about him? No. I just want to see constant improvement and give him those 3 years just like we gave Justin Fields. So is the jury out? No, but he's shown enough, and with his consistent play and his ability to read a pocket and to be able to escape and to be able to put special plays together in special moments, that I really am, even though he ranked 20th out of 43, I'm all in on this season with Ben Johnson and the offensive playmakers that we have and the opportunity we have with this offseason with free agency and the draft to really put something special together. I think all Bears fans should be hyped and excited. The whole Justin versus Caleb thing should be dead. That's a full year in the past behind us now. That's over. Justin's moved on to the Steelers. He's going to go to the Steelers or the Raiders or wherever. He's going to go somewhere else. He's no longer the Bears quarterback. I wish him well. I think every one of us wishes him well and want to see him succeed. But we've seen enough out of Caleb, and he's on his rookie deal with 3 years at least left on that deal. And he's already said he wants to be the Bears quarterback for 15 to 18 years. And when he's talking about before we hired a head coach, he talked about how he wanted to be married up with his new offensive coordinator style head coach for the next 18 years of his career. So it's time to back him. I'm really excited for what we have coming forward. There's a lot to look forward to with the Bears and with Caleb Williams. So with that, appreciate you tuning in. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so. If you haven't subscribed, now's the time to do that as well. Hit the notification button. Share this with your friends. I do appreciate it. Until next time, the Bears and bear down.